Welcome, everybody. So, today I want to talk about the power of the sun metaphorically. So, first of all, philosophically, I understand that we are not so much in control, or we are totally not in control of our reality and how everything happens. We don't have free will and all that stuff. Yeah, I believe that. And the other thing is, I know for sure that everything that happens around us influences our future decisions and or our future circumstances or whatever that is you may call it, or sort of like tempers with our reality in a way. And it's not right to blame a human being for their situation and stuff, whether they're disabled or whatever, poor, whatever you can call it. It's not right to judge them for that because in the first place they're not responsible for that, except we see it like they have to take some action to control that. The thing I want to talk about today is killing the mentality that mistakes are a bad thing. And so, from what perspective am I going to talk about this? The thing is, I just don't like it when people make other people feel uncomfortable for having an unfortunate situation in life. For example, like putting money in a business and it fails, or something else, or investing wrongly. It's like people want to judge this to be a flaw, like you shouldn't have done that. But these are things that build us in life. These are things that, make us stronger and stuff, make us more knowledgeable about life the more we grow and the more we make the same mistakes that we make. The thing that really puzzles me a lot is how, regardless of how people know for sure that most of the things happen not so much by how they plan them, they still think they are in control of what is happening around them. And so this makes other people so uncomfortable and it puts people in a weird position because now people are living in a world where they're very skeptical about making mistakes. They want to make sure that everything is smooth and everything is okay. And so once you find yourself in that situation where it's like things are not going all right, you feel so uncomfortable and you kind of feel like people are going to judge you wrongly. And so you start functioning and based on people's judgments and people's criticisms. The setbacks are going to start controlling you negatively and stuff like that. What I'm here to say is that you have to embrace those things. You don't have to be seeking for comfort all the time. Like, having a purpose to wake up every day is not something that you decide upon. Having a purpose every day that you wake up on is not something that you decide on. It's something that really punches you. It's like as you grow to discover yourself, to live life, to face these challenges that you face along the way, you end up falling on that ground where it's like finally you have certain information about yourself that you never had, and this is how you're going to utilize it. So it's not like you're making a decision. You're not in control of that. You're just functioning as a human being, as a normal human being. And so when you make these mistakes are just, evidence that you lack the information that you need to fix certain things. And so for some, it's going to take a long time. For some, it's not going to take a long time. For some, they were born in a family that helped them discover themselves. So things just seemed a lot smooth and stuff like that. So you can't fall for that. And so when you grow up, especially when you become responsible in life, you start looking for things that will only help you survive. And now it's in that trap where you start functioning on the information that you hear a lot from outside. It's like when people judge, society has its own way of judging things. And so if that affected you when you were growing up, even when you grow up in your current situation, you're going to start functioning based on that. So you kind of feel like going out to do certain things is not good, or maybe people are just going to judge me wrongly, or people are just going to say, why is it doing that? Or people are going to know me to be this and so why should they see me doing this? Like, for example, you're a celebrity and things are not going okay. So just because a lot of people know you, you end up framing yourself and not, lowering your standards and going to a place that you fit in because currently your situation is not happening that much. These are things that society paints on us and they kind of make us feel uncomfortable. But what I'm saying is that the power of the sun is that the sun to me simply means being in a tight situation, being in a weird position in life, being uncomfortable, maybe using a bad word, being poor to some extent. That's the sun. It's like in that situation your brain stretches the most. You want to ask questions, you want to know yourself more, you want to know what you can do, you want to know what you're going to have to do when you wake up every day, you want to know who you're going to talk to, who you're going to associate with, who's going to, like contribute more in your knowledge so you can attain certain things. You want to know all those things. But then the shed to me in this case simply means, seeking for comfort minus working for it. You know, like it's not a bad thing if you're seeking for help in a current situation or reducing on your standards and stuff like that. That's not a bad thing at all. But the problem is that when you function so much on what society is doing, because society will make you feel uncomfortable to do certain things. And so the message is that try embrace the sun, like embrace those situations when you don't have. Embrace them, because it's in those situations when your brain will stretch and ask itself questions until you start seeking for answers. The best analogy I can give is the rain and the sun. The rain never stops coming. It's like every season that the rain has to show up, it shows up. So it's not like people who are living in the rain and not feeling it are not living in the rain. They're living in the rain, but they've just built so much around them that helps them survive the rain. That's just how it works. Like the whole concept of evolution. Evolution is not about survival of the fittest. It's survival of those who can help themselves survive based on the existence, the functionality, and all that stuff. So be somebody who's evolved to an extent where you want to know exactly how to help yourself survive the negative situations, because they're not going to go away. Not even Bill Gates has everything sorted out, but he's in a position to manage most of the things even when the problems come. That's the whole issue. You build around yourself what you know you're missing. And so this always goes back to waking up or going to sleep with a plan or whatever that is. Even though this is just not going to come because I'm saying it, it's a lifestyle. You have to go through the process one day at a time, one day at a time. Things are not going to seem okay. You're going to stress, you're going to struggle, you're going to sometimes cry. The pain is going to hit you, hurt is going to hit you, until you get to a point where finally from your presence in the sun, you're going to start thinking of what the bridge is to the shed. So you start figuring out solutions. You start asking yourself more questions like, who am I? Where do I belong? What business can I do? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And all that stuff. Once you figure those things out, it's automatic. Things are just going to start falling in place. I tell people to say, don't embrace so much of words from people. Like whatever people tell you is going to be like, yeah, salt to a meal. But then the funny thing is that reality doesn't function on words that come once. Like nobody's just gonna tell you once, stop taking alcohol, stop smoking, stop doing what, and just from there you feel the conviction to stop. No, it comes with the process of life. You're gonna have to go through the pain, the struggles, especially if you're in that lane. You have to embrace those things. Once you start getting frustrated at the fact that you don't have what other people have, you now go in the negative way. You've come too far. Don't mess it up by going the wrong direction, because then once your negative situations start frustrating you and making you feel less of a human being, that's the end of it. Then you're gonna give up. But then once you start using them to bounce back, like, why am I in this weird position? What can I do to get out of this? And how consistent should I be? As time goes by, those things are gonna be answered and you're gonna keep moving. To society, I think the idea of always being emotional about situations is a bad thing for me. It's like when people are in a weird position, don't pity them. Don't talk to them in a low voice. Don't make them feel like things are bad for them that much. Make them feel like they're in the process to growth. Make them feel like they are learning, they are becoming, they're getting stronger as days goes by. And so when things hit them, make them feel like, yes, this is a brick. You're gonna have to lay it wisely so you can keep up building a house until one day you live in it. That's just how it works. So we start, we keep moving. It's a lifestyle. Words are not going to change your situation. Reality itself in the process will change your situation. But from your realization perspective, this is where these words go. Understand that bad situations, weird situations, unfortunate situations, setbacks, challenges, difficulties, negative criticisms, people living your life and all that stuff, this is going to happen. All these things are going to happen to you. And if you don't embrace them, if you keep thinking, I'm just not anything because my friend, we were in the same school, my friend just bought a Mercedes Benz, built a house, how come I don't have these things? Those questions are going to puzzle you down. You don't ask questions about how those people got those things, whatever that is. Focus on you, like, what are you? Who are you? When you wake up every day, what do you think you love? Once you know those things, you start living in your own world. You start heading a direction where things are just going to get figured out. This is where they say you can't really live your life based on what other people have, because what you start doing is you ignore your problems, you ignore your challenges, you ignore the part of you that you don't know. You don't want to know it. You start wanting to know what other people have done, and so that frustrates you a lot. You get back to yourself. You give yourself 2 years mentally. You give yourself 2 years. You start figuring yourself out. Everything that you do, you have to question it. Do I love this or don't I love this? However much people are gonna achieve from that same industry that you failed in, don't care. It's not you. That's just it. You have to accept that this is not me. Just because somebody is using a MacBook Pro doesn't mean I have to buy a MacBook Pro as well. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Let me get a Windows PC or something like that, because that's what I love. However much people are going to use the MacBook Pro, if it's not my liking, I'm going to get a Windows PC. That's just how it works. That's just reality. It always has to come from a point where you know yourself. Know yourself first. Things are going to be easier. You won't stress, you won't do anything. Because trust me, if you live your life based on what other people have achieved, it's going to puzzle you a lot. You're still going to see people doing fine. And if the more you see them, the more you don't work on yourself. Just get to work and start working on yourself. It's going to take 10 years, it's going to take 5 years, it's going to take 2 years, however long it's going to take. Let it just take as much as it can, but one day you're going to have what you are missing. And the greatest gift that you want to seek for, the greatest treasure that you want to find in life is who you are. Nothing else. So thank you so much for watching. It's been Jaden. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out in the future. There's more coming. Then see you in the next.